in finance, obviously, a lot of financial advisors started very much in sales. I mean, there's the Ed Jones story of door knocking. That's basically how most guys that grew up in that model started.
Yep.
Um, what are some things, because you went from being the sales guy to overseeing sales guys or a team, any tips that you can think of for financial advisors out there? Because many of them are on that path of like, hey, it's an I, a single player game to a we where they want to start to train and empower a team. And that's really tough when you've got these like, hey, I've been doing this 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And just like the school of hard knocks where you figure out objection handling and relationship building. So what tips along that journey would you give advisors out there trying to build sales teams?
Well, I feel like we could do a whole podcast episode just on this topic because it's so important and there are so many nuances and so many things that we could get into. But just preliminarily, I would say I think it's really important to work with people the way that they are wired, the way that they're worked best. I found using personality assessments to be a great resource to figuring out how do I communicate best with people to, help them perform at the highest level, but make sure that we have a great working relationship. And so part of it is, are the right people in the right seats? I mean, if I identify an A player, I'm happy to get them in the organization and figure out later where they need to go. But it really solves a lot of problems if you know that this role needs, a super detailed person and you're able to figure out in an assessment or even just in an interview how detail oriented they are and kind of make that match. I also think it's really important. I always think about long term, that progression. So when someone starts with me, I would like to know that they've got an executive level profile because I want them to grow with me in the business. So for example, one of, my very first executive assistants, and technically she was a personal assistant first and then became an executive assistant. And then she became head of our real estate portfolio. And now she's working in Lifestyle Investor, but also working as an asset manager on the real estate side of things. And so for her, when I look at her assessment, not only does she have skills that complement me, that I think is really important, especially as like first employee on or very new people in the beginning, that they have complementary skills to you as like a sole member founder, but also that she has the capacity to be able to fill these bigger roles. Like, does her profile allow her to move into, a chief marketing officer or a chief operating officer or a chief financial officer or, any of the C-suite? That is important to me. And then I think the culture, the morale, the camaraderie, the spirit in the office. I have heard this for a long time. I don't know where it started. I've heard it, a lot of people lay claim to this, but that culture will eat strategy for breakfast, right? And this whole idea of making sure that people feel loved on and that they feel important and they feel part of something bigger than themselves, like all that matters. But to also show those people appreciation often along the way as you're building a relationship, building trust, and really empowering them, trying to move from a dependent relationship to an independent relationship, right? At the beginning, probably there's a lot more hand-holding, or there should be, to moving them to independence where they can run on their own. And I'm okay with people making mistakes. I
Mhm.
would rather give them that autonomy early on than to live in the camp of micromanagement. I'm a much better macro manager. And also I would rather hire people. Like, I would rather personally pay more for the right person that has a profile that would allow them to be an independent worker, to be an independent team member, knowing that maybe I got to pay a little bit more to get them to have the experience, or maybe I don't. But even if I did, I would rather find that person than the person I have to micromanage. I don't want to live in a space of the turnover that typically happens in micromanagement. I think retention is much stronger in a macro management environment.
Yeah, and who likes to be micromanaged? Nobody, right? So
That's right.
if you can get great people and empower them, and as one person once told me, hire great people and get the hell out of the way for the
That's
most
right.
part, you know.
That's right.
I love that. Okay, let's go back to the personality assessments. Those are big at Triad as well. What are some of your favorite personality assessments when looking at potential hires?
Probably my two favorite would be Culture Index and Predictive Index. Those are the two that I've used the most. Those two I have the most like back office knowledge of, but I've done them all. I've used them all. Colby is really interesting. I mean, probably
Mhm.
the biggest one in the space is Myers-Briggs. But there's DISC there. I mean, there's tons of them. You've got strength finders. I mean, all of them I think are great. And the way I would look at it is what's better instead of what's the best, what's better, going in it blind or having an assessment? Well, definitely having an assessment. Well, once you make that realization, then it probably matters less what that assessment is and more, do you know the ins and the outs of that assessment to help you work with people the right way and hire the right people and actually be able to retain them after you hire them, right? To make less
Mhm.
mistakes of hiring the wrong people, which is really costly from a time standpoint, more so than from a financial standpoint. Um, but for me, I have really found the culture index and the predictive index to be a little bit more of outliers in the space. I like strength finders for a lot of reasons. And by the way, I would incorporate that. But these other two, I think, kind of stand on their own.